All right, we are back again on the second part of relationship. With relationship, actually, at times it leads to breakup, right? If things do not work out, or maybe you are thinking maybe things will work out huko mbele, but haija work out, so maybe it can lead to breakup. So with Teacher Daisy again, and she's going to take us through the breakup bit, what you should know and what you should do. So maybe you can start by telling us what is breakup. Maybe someone is wondering what is even breakup.
Okay.
Yes.
So simply put, a breakup is a situation where a relationship comes to an end. Yeah. Either mutually or either one party decides that it just has to end. That's a breakup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's, I know it doesn't just come to an end. There are things that are causing it to come to an end, right?
Yeah.
And we have the abuses. Maybe what are the types of abuses that maybe you can share with someone that can lead to breakup? You know, most of the time when you say abuse, people just think of the physical.
Yeah.
But are there more that you can share about when it comes to abuses that are there in a relationship?
Yes.
That can lead to breakup. Yeah.
So there exist several types of abuses. The first one is the physical, of course, the one that people get physical, injuring the other humans physically by inflicting pain on them, maybe by boxing them, by using maybe some objects to be this person and all that, slapping, kicking, all that. That's physical. Then we have psychological abuse. So psychological abuse is when someone purposely tries to evoke in you like negative emotions, and at the end of it make you feel like less of a person. Yeah. So they would do things like name calling.
Yes.
They will abuse you. Of course, calling you out of your name. They would also try to diminish your success, your contribution, telling you that you don't matter, you know, you have no importance or use. That is psychological abuse. Yeah.
All right.
Then we also do have economic abuse, and this is when your partner intentionally diminishes your economic input or tries to control your economic or how you use your economic energy. I would say that. So like, let's say if you are working, they decide that you need to quit your job, and that is something that you do not want to do. Why? Because at the end of it, your job gives you financial freedom, so they want to take that away from you so that you can economically depend on them. It will also look like you going to work and then this person getting a salary. You see, like the way it used to, I understand this used to happen a lot kitambo. Yeah.
Like you're working, but
yeah.
Okay.
That like you are waking up every day to go to work from 8 to 5, but at the end of it all, it's your husband who goes to the ATM to withdraw the money, or if they don't have direct access to your money without your consent, of course. Yeah, all this is you have no consent to it. You have no willpower to say no. Yeah. So they have made you somehow. They have made a power difference between you, that whatever suggestion it is that they give to you, you just say yes. Yeah. So you could be going to work and they ask you to bring all that money. Remember, we have some couples who do that, but it is mutual. We discuss the importance of this and how we are going to do the budgeting. Yeah. But if there was no prior discussion, there was no consent to this, then it would count as economic abuse, where you are told to bring all your money and then now he'll be giving you kidogo. If you want fair, they give you 100 shillings every morning. Yeah, but the rest of your 100,000 is with him. That's, or even her, because abuse can go both ways. Yeah. Then we also do have I think those are the most common: the physical, the psychological, and the economic. Those are the three major abuses that contributes to domestic violence and domestic abuse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when is the right time to leave? Like maybe you've experienced this, you are stuck there. Like when can you say is the right time for someone to leave when they're experiencing that?
I would say, I think connected to what we are talking about in the relationships, the first time to leave is to leave at the first red flag.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, hiyo mambo ya kusema let me just wait and let me pray for him and then wait and see if things are going to change. Oh, he was going through some bad stuff, or she was going through some bad stuff, that's why she did this and that. Let me give room for second chance and all that. So the more you stay, the more you are showing lack of respect for your own boundaries, and the more they will take you for a ride. Because if you yourself don't respect your own boundaries, how do you expect the other person to do the same?
Exactly.
So if you had maybe had a prior discussion and you said, maybe you mentioned to them that one of my deal breakers is, if someone is violent, and then they become violent to you and you stay, expect it to get worse. Yeah. So at the very first sight of any red flag of any kind of abuse to you, you owe no one, by the way, to stay. In fact, you owe yourself all the reasons to leave, because you need to protect yourself. If you don't protect yourself, who will?
Exactly.
Yeah. So the right time to leave is at the first red flag.
Exactly.
For me. Yeah.
And now I've left, like I'm on my own. What's the first thing that I should do? Because I also want to be all again, like myself back, and I'm not feeling all these feelings. It comes with emotional burden.
Yes.
Like, what's the appropriate thing to do? Maybe immediately I leave this relationship.
I would say that breakups are normally equated to the process of loss and grief in counseling, because when you lose that symbol which your relationship represented, you mourn. Yeah, you actually do mourn. So allow yourself to go through the stages of denial, bargaining, anger, depression, then you reach acceptance. So one thing that is very difficult for people to do is, like I've mentioned these stages, the denial, bargaining, anger, depression, then acceptance. At least with acceptance, there is some sort of positivity that comes with it, because when you accept them, then you're ready to move on.
Yeah.
Now, these other ones, they are normally, the first 4 stages are normally associated with negative emotions. And human beings don't like to feel negative emotions.
Yeah.
So because of lack of tolerance to go through the denial and the bargaining and the anger especially and the depression, so people try to look for other, I would say, harmful coping mechanisms. Yeah. So allow yourself to feel the shame, to feel the embarrassment, to feel the pain, to feel the hurt. Yeah. The only way that you will go through it is to go through it.
Yes.
Like, there is no shortcut. Yeah. So you have to go through the pain, you have to go through the anger and all that. So when you find other negative coping mechanisms, it might help to seal the emptiness. But with or without your knowledge, it's going to unconsciously affect you and even your future relationships.
Exactly.
So it's very important to feel the feelings and then be ready to move on from there. Yeah.
You have to go through the stages one by one.
Yes.
Until you reach
And
acceptance.
funny thing with the stages of loss and grief by she's called with this lady. She's called Elizabeth Kubler. So there is no particular way of going through this. For some people, you might go through denial, then jump straight to anger, then come right back to bargaining and all that. But the important thing is you go through these very unsettling, uncomfortable emotions for you to reach acceptance. Because no matter how you go through these 1, 2, 3, 4 stages, the end of it is the 5th one, which is acceptance. At the end of the day, you will reach acceptance, and with acceptance, then you can be able to truly move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think also the duration that one takes to go through these stages depends with.
It varies.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with, let's say, loss and grief. When you lose a loved one, maybe to death, you'll see that maybe for the deceased person, the parent might react differently, the father might react differently, the mother might react differently, the sisters, the siblings, and all this.
Yeah.
So people do have different tolerance levels. Yeah, of going through the uncomfortable feelings. So it varies from person to person. Someone can, in fact, there are some people who normally say that I just felt bad the first 2 days. And from there I was okay. Yeah, and truly they were okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But also the other thing, in addition to going through these difficult emotions, is to ask why, not why, but lessons that you learn from the relationship that has brought you the heartbreak. Yeah, it's very, very important.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's good to be clear on what are the lessons, what are the experience, what have you taught yourself, what has the experience taught you as a person, so that next time maybe you don't make the same mistake if it's a mistake you make yourself, right?
Yeah. In fact, we normally say that when it comes to heartbreak, to some extent, everyone contributes. Yeah. So it's important for people. Human nature, people are normally proud. So their ego can't allow them to sit down and accept that, they had a role that they played that contributed to the position that they are in, which is the heartbreak. So people need to do introspection, ask themselves, what did I do? What could I have done differently? So that the next time you enter into a relationship, you make sure not to make the same mistake twice.
That's a great lesson to be learned
by
the person. Yeah. So you've moved and you have coped, and maybe you are in the process of coping, but this ex still comes, like it's still on your case all the time. Like, how can you advise someone? How can you move past a bitter ex? Maybe ameona like una glow, umesha move on in your life, but sasa jealousy part of it, like wako nayo and all that. What can someone do to move past that so that you get that healing yourself?
I would say, for me, what works for me, actually, let me be vulnerable. I never engage with exes. Yeah. So I would say that let bygones be bygones. If you're through with someone, why would, if you gave someone your resources, your time, your emotions, your energy, and they were not able to appreciate it, maybe they had cases of infidelity, they were not caring, they were abusive and all that, why would you want to give the same person the same things they never appreciated? So like for me, I normally say, if I dated you, we are not related. Yeah. I think even for relatives nowadays, people cut ties. People cut off other people. So if you are unable to come to the common ground of making a relationship to work, not to say that you're going to be bitter yourself, you just say, you know what, I have learned who you are, I have learned my lesson, I would never like to put myself through the same kind of lesson again. I wish you all the best. If you succeed, or whatever happens to you, I'm really not concerned moving forward. So I would say that if you had that attitude, you never have issues with ex. Okay. Issues to do with an ex is meddling. You might have other challenges in your relationship, but dealing with an ex is not going to be one of them. Okay. Now that applies for people who never had kids. So easy to cut off, or businesses or anything like that, or properties shared. Now, if you had property shared, then I would say that you just go through the right channel legally. If it is a child, if you can't come to any conscious kind of agreement, maybe with family members involved, or even the legal system involved, or anyone else who can help you, come to a mutual ground about your kids, or your property, or your house, or your car, or your business, then let the legal team handle it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it would be different if kids are involved, but for property, we also have the legal way of doing things. Be ready to go through that.
Exactly.
Yeah. If it's a property, mukubaliane. According to contribution or whatever, do we sell and divide according to contribution, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just be ready to cut ties completely if you can.
Exactly.
But with kids, kids are just there. You just have to find a way of working through it. But I would say that if you feel like your peace, your safety and security is threatened, you can just go the legal way.
Yeah, that is so important.
Yeah, in extreme cases.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks so much. This is so empowering, educating at the same time, and actually it brings us to the end of this. I don't know if you've left anything.
I wouldn't say we have left anything, but maybe a parting shot from me in matters relationship, in matters heartbreak. First of all, for relationships, be yourself. Make sure you are self-aware before engaging in any relationship. That's the first prerequisite of relationship, of healthy. We have relationships, then we have healthy relationships, and then we have unhealthy relationships. But any person who is committed to personal development and all that, having a healthy relationship should be one of the things, because it really it really, really affects the level of energy and resources that you put out in other areas of your life.
Yes.
So you have to be self-aware. That's the first thing. If you're self-aware, I think other things will just fall.
Yeah.
Then for heartbreak, I would actually tell people to not be afraid to go through the uncomfortable negative emotions that we normally experience through a heartbreak, and also to make that habit of introspection. Ask yourself, what role? Believe you me, if you are truly honest and real with yourself, you will see the role that you played. Maybe you stayed longer than you needed to. Maybe you enabled some behavior. Maybe you never respected your own boundaries. That's why it got you there.
Yeah.
So be real with yourself and make sure to correct that. And for those people who are going through maybe the bitter exes, just cut off. Just cut off the links and communication, and use the energy you'd have used to people who don't appreciate it to other areas of your life, or other people who do appreciate that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's my parting shot.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Madam Daisy. And if you have any comment, please just leave for us a comment and we will tackle them. Or if you have a question, or if you have any clarification that you need on what has been shared, we'll be happy to tackle that. Otherwise, thank you for now. Till next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.